Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome back today to part 5 of this McLaren career on Motorsport Manager. We're doing excellent this season. We've got Max Verstappen in first place in the driver's standings, Mick Schumacher in second. We're over double the points in front of Mercedes, so it looks like this is definitely going to be our last season with McLaren. As I said, if we won this season quite comfortably, then we will be moving on for season 4 to a different team. We're hoping that the Haas job becomes available. They are currently in 9th place at the moment, just a point ahead of Toro Rosso, so we're hoping that becomes available. Today we have got the S03E05 Grand Prix coming up. We're going to treat this as if it is a brand new Grand Prix this year. Last year it was called Tondela. We have actually started using the track mod since the last time that we ran this race, so we'll treat it like it's a new Grand Prix. Obviously Estoril, the old Portuguese track, it's somewhere near Lisbon, isn't it? I think it hasn't actually been run since the mid-90s, so it's over 20 years since it's been run. I want to say 1997, possibly 1996, so the last winner would have been possibly a Williams driver around that time. If it was 97, it would be Villeneuve or Heinz-Harald Frentzen. If it was 96, it would be Hill or Villeneuve. So 96, it would be Hill or Villeneuve, possibly Villeneuve. So should we just quickly look this up? If we go through Estoril, yes, last time it was run was in 1996. Jacques Villeneuve actually won the last one. Actually a really strong race for Williams in the early 90s. Obviously that was the time when Williams were at their strongest in the early 90s. The last time a McLaren won this Grand Prix, 1988 and in 1987 as well with Alain Prost. So hopefully we can get another driver to win this. Hopefully Max Verstappen. It will be the first time a McLaren driver has won here in 30 years. Obviously I can't remember if we actually won in Portugal last year. We possibly will have done because we were really strong in the early going last year. But yeah, so we've got Estoril coming up. Car wise, we're building another new gearbox, but in between the last episode and this, we've actually managed to get the engine fully reliable. We've actually managed to build a new front wing. So we've got a few new parts going into the car, so we're just going to try and figure out what we're going to do. Obviously Max is going to get the better engine, Mick is going to get the second best engine. Who had the better front wing? It was Max there as well, so he's going to get the new front wing, which is 100% reliable. We're currently just working on getting these all the way to the top. I think we still do have the best engine, yes we do. So what are we like now? We've put those in the car, still third best overall. Don't think there's anything else we can improve. Actually, we've got the brakes, but yeah, because we started building the brakes at the end of the last episode, so we've got those as well in the car. Should we give Max a better brakes, or should we keep them with Mick? No, we'll keep them with Mick. We'll do that. Are we still there? Second best car overall now, so getting pretty close to the Ferrari. The gearbox is what needs a little bit of work. Otherwise, I think we've got the best part in nearly every area. So where have we got the best parts? Let's just have a quick look. Max in his car has the best engine in the game, front wing in the game, rear wing in the game, whereas Mick has the best brakes in the game. So it's really just the gearbox and the suspension which we don't have as the best parts, whereas Max has 4 of the best parts that we have overall at McLaren, whereas Mick has the better brakes and suspension. It keeps him happy, although he's not delighted with this car setup. But obviously Max is the total #1 driver that we've got this season. We're going to try and get him, because he is pretty tight with Sebastian Vettel. So hopefully that is going to change with Estoril. Hopefully we can get him ahead of Vettel now. They have been really close in qualifying. If we go back and look at Sochi, the last race qualifying, he just got beat. Look at that. Absolutely close. And then in Bahrain, even tighter. We just beat out Sebastian Vettel by 1/1000th of a second. So hopefully we can change things coming up here in Estoril. Hopefully the new engine and the couple of extra new upgrades are going to get us even further in front. So we're going to choose Carlsberg. As per usual, we've already set the car up for this race. What does it look like? It's going to be gearbox orientated. The front wing, Ferrari have overtaken us front wing wise. Although no, they haven't anymore, have they? Because they had done. But we've actually gone back to the top of the grid there. Ferrari better gearbox wise, and the last part is the engine. So we should be pretty powerful here. Obviously Vettel is a higher rated driver than Verstappen, so that might make up a little bit of a difference, but hopefully we can get somewhere a little bit further in front, maybe maybe a 1/10 of a second in front. Maybe we could stretch to that. Is what we're aiming for. But anyway, we're going to run practice and qualifying as we usually do off camera. We'll be back in a moment for the grid. Yeah, we'll be back in a moment for the grid, and we will take things from there. So qualifying is over. Here is the grid for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Max Verstappen in first place. The new couple of upgrades that we've put in the car have given us about 0.2 of a second advantage over Vettel's Ferrari. Hülkenberg in the Mercedes improves this time up into third place. Kimi Räikkönen fourth place in the second Mercedes, rounding out a second row of the grid as they have been doing recently. Mick Schumacher gets his usual fifth place. As you can see, he's starting on the medium tyre. We'll go through why he's on the medium tyre in a moment once the race starts. Giovinazzi is in sixth in the Ferrari. Stoffel Van Dorn seventh in the Red Bull. Ricciardo in the Williams in eighth. Hamilton behind his teammate Stoffel Van Dorn on the fifth row of the grid. Ninth place for him. Lance Stroll in the second Williams. 10th place. Sergio Perez in 11th, Bottas in the Sauber 12th place, Carlos Sainz in 13th place in the Renault, Felipe Nasr up into 14th, a pretty good qualifying session for him in the Sauber, Julian Palm in the Renault 15th, the Toro Rosso of Kvyat 16th, we got the other Toro Rosso of Gasly 17th, and then we got the Haas Marcus Ericsson all the way at the back of the grid. Santino Ferrucci actually beating him for once, so 18th for Ferrucci. Ocon in the Force India a long way down the grid in 19th, and Ericsson in 20th as we just saw. So hopefully we can get a decent start from Verstappen. We don't want to be pushing these tyres too much because the way we've got our strategy set up, it's going to be pretty hard to get to the end of the race on the tyres that we've got. Maybe we're going to have to switch it up at some point. But hopefully we can get ahead nice and early here, because what we've got with Schumacher, I got him through into Q3 on the medium tyre. He finished 9th in Q2 on this medium tyre. What we can see is he can do 4 laps 8 and 8, so it can just about do the full race on the medium set of tyres. He does have the medium boost on, so hopefully we can get through this. What I'm hoping is that we can make these tyres stretch long enough that we can go medium, then we can go for another medium stint after that. Hopefully this first set lasts a little bit longer than it says it's going to do, so that we can go medium, medium, and then at least get onto the softs one stint in this Grand Prix. That is what we're hoping for. Meanwhile, with Max Verstappen, he can do 4, 8 and 8. He can just about comfortably do this full race on the soft tyres. Obviously, we don't have to plan for anything else with the strategy because we know everyone does have to stop at least twice. So there's no reason to try to stretch this out into a one stop, because that is something that's not possible with these 40kg fuel tanks. But what we want to do, the weather is quite hot here. We haven't started Schumacher off. We started him off in neutral mode on the tyres because we don't actually want him to burn through the tyres too much. We don't even want Max Verstappen to go through the tyres too much, so we're going to turn him down as early as we can. We're getting away from Nico Hülkenberg here, who's managed to get ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Schumacher, meanwhile, has moved up the grid. He's managed to get past the Mercedes of Kimi Räikkönen. We're on the back of Sebastian Vettel here. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get in front of him, but I'm guessing he's got, no, we've all got about the same amount of boost here. The Red Bulls have a slightly higher, and we've lost a bit of pace here. Right, so we're going to use the boost of Mick to try and get him a little bit closer to Vettel. Hülkenberg, though, is still a long way behind. We've got a nice big gap here out front with Max Verstappen. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1. That is Valtteri Bottas in the Sauber that has crashed out already back into the pits. Don't know what exactly happened to him, but as it is, we've got Max Verstappen storming away into the lead here. We can actually just turn down now. We've actually used a little bit too much fuel. Yeah, it's probably just about right. We're going to try get Schumacher as far as we can on this medium tyre. The tyres are pretty cold, but we really don't want to push them. It's 24 degrees, so they should still continue to heat up even with this, and we're doing alright as we are at the moment. Hülkenberg is still really pushing his fuel. The computer still really likes to push the fuel, even though it is pretty tight to get to the end of the race. I don't know whether they put 8 laps of fuel in from the start. Estoril, a lap of fuel down on what you're supposed to be on is about 0.3 of a second per lap, so there is obviously an advantage to setting up with a little less fuel at the beginning of the race. If there was about a 10th difference, then it's worth setting up with a lot of fuel in the car so the pit stops a bit quicker, but you can gain a lot on this track by having a little bit less in the fuel tank at the start of the race. Obviously, after this stint, we do need to go for the full 8 laps of fuel. We've got some cars in the pits already. Is that Giovinazzi already in? Kimi Räikkönen already into the pit. So it looks like they're going to struggle to do 2 stops during this race, so they're pretty much out of the running already. Verstappen, meanwhile, the new upgrades on this car doing an absolute wonder for him. He's already almost 5 seconds in front of Nico Hülkenberg. Mick Schumacher doing an excellent job in 4th place. There's a nice big gap to him back to Van Dorn, but obviously we might come under a bit of pressure from Räikkönen and Giovinazzi. They've actually gone on for Giovinazzi's gone for a hard tyre pretty early on, but the undercut might work for Kimi Räikkönen. But Schumacher's doing a really good job of hanging on to this medium tyre, which is nice to see. And what we're going to have to do, we really need to set up Max Verstappen now for his pit stop. He's going to come in after this lap. He's going to be coming on for another pair of soft tyres. We're going to fuel him all the way to the top because we've got 15 laps. We've got a little bit of room to push in high mode. Not much though. We can't really do much with the fuel after this. Schumacher, meanwhile, sort of limited what you can do at the moment. If we had a vote coming up on tyres, we'd obviously try and go for it. These mediums can get down to a 10%, so we're going to try and keep Mick out for an extra lap, just so we can get him onto a pair of softs at some point. The mediums can go to about 10% before they actually go, before you start to actually lose traction with them. Max Verstappen, meanwhile, is putting in a really quick second sector there, really quick. Is he going to go? Well, he can't actually go any quicker because he's going to dive into the pits this time. Hopefully there's going to be no mistakes here, and we get the Mercedes of Hulkenberg in. Sebastian Vettel is staying out, is he? No, he's not. What happened to Vettel? Is he already pitted? Yes, he's already pitted. So Mick takes the lead in this race. Verstappen is out on a nice quick pair of tyres. Now he can go high mode for a little bit. And Schumacher now, we can actually go back to pushing on these tyres. Are we low on fuel though? It's 0.17. We can actually go to low. That should get us back home. Yeah, that should just about get us back home. So if we push now, we've got battery left. Yeah, that should get us round to the finish line. So what have we got left after this? 14 laps. So it's going to have to be another medium tyre, but then we can hopefully finish the race on a soft tyre, which should give us an advantage later on with Mick Schumacher. So hopefully this is going to work out for us. We just need to watch the fuel. Max Verstappen comfortably in second place here. We're using a little bit of a boost. We just want to keep Mick Schumacher up to speed here. His tyres are pretty warm, but we'll use the boost to make up for that. Verstappen's obviously catching him on the quicker set of tyres here. And here comes Schumacher now into the pits. We just got there. We have enough fuel. So we want to go high, back to neutral. We should be able to do the 8 laps. Where are we going to come back out in 6th place? Raikkonen, yeah, so it should work out for us now, going towards the end of the race. Making the car stretch out for us like that a little bit longer. It should work out later on in the race. So we've set Mick up nicely. He's in 6th place. He's chasing down Kimi Raikkonen. We knew Kimi was possibly going to get back in front of us because he did go for the long undercut on the soft tyres. But obviously, I'm thinking he's going to have to 3-stop the race. Whereas we managed to get Schumacher through that first stint. We managed to stretch those medium tyres out a hell of a long time. It really worked out for us. So we can possibly push on these medium tyres maybe a tiny little bit. We don't want to push too much. Just get it there. And we've got Vettel. He was really pushing his tyres at one point. These medium tyres, we know we're going to be able to pull back away from him. And we're seeing that now as our softs get into the range, that they're going to work a lot better than the medium tyres. So come on, Max. We can easily do this race. The new upgrades, and we'll just might as well boost him. We've got a little bit of boost left with Schumacher. Kimi's tyres are going to be going pretty soon, so we just need to keep an eye on this fuel. What we'll do is we'll switch back to medium for a bit. What have we got left lap-wise after this one? 12 laps to go, 4 laps remaining fuel-wise. We can actually keep going in high mode with Max Verstappen. Schumacher is up into 5th as... Is that Daniel Ricciardo? Has someone just made their first pit stop? Was it... No, Kimi Raikkonen has actually done his 2nd pit stop already, so he's going to have to pit stop again. And we need to get through. So there's about 6 laps remaining, 6 laps of fuel. I don't think we're going to quite do it. You know, we could just about do this. We might need to go into low mode to get him onto that soft pair of tyres for the end of the race. Verstappen, meanwhile, under no pressure here. Hulkenberg really falling back at the moment. Is he going low mode? I'm guessing a lot of these cars, no, they're going to stretch it out to 2 stops. I feel they're going to be able to do that. We're just pulling away nicely now with Max Verstappen. No worries at all. So let's concentrate on Schumacher for a little bit. We don't want to leave him in the lurch here. Sir Santino Ferrucci in the heart is actually lapping a little bit quicker than him at the moment. And we decided that we couldn't really push that fuel, could we? Because we want him to get to about lap 14 to come in for this nice fresh pair of softs towards the end of the race. And maybe then we could start chasing down Van Dorn and Hulkenberg. Vettel has already pitted. Don't think he's got to pit again, although he's coming a little bit early. He shouldn't actually have the fuel to finish this race. So maybe just thinking about it, we might not risk his soft tyres, but we can get through here. We can get through to the end of the race. We've got a lot of life left in these tyres. Vettel's obviously going a lot quicker because he's really pushing these tyres at the moment. we're not going to do that. We're going to give up position really, or hold him up as much as we can. If we hold him up, then we back him up, then it's easily going to give, although Max is that far ahead at the moment. It doesn't really matter. Just cycle through a few things. Right, so we've got Max needs to come in this lap now. He's going to come in for his last pair of soft tyres. We're going to fuel up right to the top. No worries on anything with Max, even with a bad pit stop. Everything will go to plan. Schumacher, meanwhile, is out, and he's going to be able to get onto this soft tyre. So we've managed to really look after this soft tyre, the medium tyre this time out with Mick Schumacher. Hopefully should play it into his hands. He's still battling with Vettel. Vettel's managed to get ahead of him. We've got a decent pit stop with Verstappen. So we're just playing the long game here with Mick Schumacher. We're under no pressure. We're going to go back to medium here. We'll push a little bit later on with Max Verstappen. He's that far ahead at the moment. Vettel possibly does have to pit. So we're just going to play the long game with Mick Schumacher here. We should be able to get him in front of Sebastian Vettel. He does need to pit again. And I'm guessing he's only got a slower tyre. So we should sort of be able to undercut him. Because we're going to go onto a soft tyre. It's just whether he does need to pit stop again. Hulkenberg obviously doesn't. We're going to give up that place. So we're hoping just to try and work Mick Schumacher back onto the podium here. We need to go another lap after this one, which we're going to be able to do pretty easily, in that we can even go back into high mode. Right, so we're going to set this pit stop up. We're coming in for our first soft tyre. It's only going to be 6, so we've got some room to push with the fuel as well. If we put 8 laps of fuel in, might as well run in overtake mode. Maybe that is going to be more beneficial for the car rather than being in. And we've got Vettel coming in this time. Should we risk a fast pit stop and try and get out in front of him? I don't know whether to do it, because we might mess up with a fast pit stop. No, we'll keep it even. We should be able to get past him. We have more boost than him at the moment. We're actually lapping quicker than him at the moment. Do we have enough? Can we just push everything to the pits and try and get in front of him? Don't think we got... Yes, we do. We're in front of him before we come to the pits. Vettel is dropping off here. He's obviously low on fuel. Right, so in we come. We're going to come back out in high mode. We're going to go into neutral. We're going to push out of the pits. Can we get out in front of Sebastian Vettel here? Decent pit stop. Decent pit stop. And we're out just in front. Go on, Mick. We can do this, and we're going to push away from the exit here. Although we've got Raikkonen in front of us. Raikkonen possibly does have to pit again. Vettel's trying to push his car to the limit. We're going to do it. We're getting held up by Raikkonen, though. Hopefully Raikkonen's not going to gift this. Although we can run it in overtake mode. What is Vettel doing with his tyres? He's really pushing these tyres. He obviously can do 8 laps on these tyres. His tyre wear rates are a little bit better than ours, so that is going to help him and not us, because we sort of do really need to look after these tyres. But he's starting to pull away. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen's just comfortably leading this race out in front. No troubles from him. We're just trying to get Mick onto the podium here. We've got no real chance of catching Nico Hulkenberg. We are catching him at the moment, but we're not going to be able to catch him before the end of the race. We're just going to harvest the battery and just try and fight off Sebastian Vettel here. Just keep an eye on the laps. We've got a ton of fuel left actually, haven't we? Let's get boost again to try and get a little bit further back in front. Vettel is lapping a little bit quicker than us at the moment. Although we're pretty even last lap. I'm guessing he's going to be a lot quicker than us this lap. It's going to be quite hard. Gear change is feeling a little bit odd. There's no problems there. It's going to last till the end of the race. Right, so back. Just had to take a little bit of a break there. So try and pick up where I left off. We were leading with Mick Schumacher. We're just trying to hold off Sebastian Vettel here. So hopefully we can get that going till the end of the race. Schumacher is in third. We're hoping to get this podium. We're lapping a lot quicker than Nico Hulkenberg, but I don't think we're going to be able to catch him. We're about a second quicker. Yeah, no chance of catching him. We've got plenty of fuel left that we can keep pushing. We're just trying to hold Vettel off here. We do. He does have more boost than us, but he's pretty reluctant to use it at the moment, which is good for us. He's obviously got a few parts that are breaking. Verstappen, meanwhile, is comfortably ahead. 17 seconds in front. He's got everything. Tons of tyre wear left. And is that Vettel dropping off? Is that Vettel dropping off? No, he's coming back. Use a little bit of a boost. Keeps dropping off and then coming back. I don't know whether that is him using his boost. Yes, it is. He keeps dropping off. So we are actually quicker than him at the moment. We've got tons of tyre wear left. So, yeah, we've done pretty well on the tyres with Mick Schumacher as well. He's done a really good job in that we can possibly push him and try and get this gap of ahead of Vettel, to which he can't actually come back at us. And what we're going to do now, maybe for the next lap, what we'll do is we'll really push Max Verstappen. We'll give him one good lap. He's just been out in front under the instruction not to do much. Schumacher is in second. Hulkenberg has pitted. Third, we've got Mick Schumacher into second, playing the long game here with Mick Schumacher. We're pulling away from Sebastian Vettel now, so we can just sort of relax with Mick Schumacher, so we can concentrate on Max Verstappen now for the last couple of laps. He's coming round. So what we're going to do is we can push him for this last lap. We've got a lot of battery left as well. We'll use most of it or all of it this lap. See what sort of lap time we can get him. Are we going to be able to get him the quickest lap of the race? Already 2 seconds quicker. Obviously he's going to slow down for the last 2 sectors because he doesn't have the battery power. 3 seconds quicker. What is this going to be? Is this going to be an outstanding lap? Can he get low in the 120s? A 119.6. Mick doesn't really have much fuel left to push like that. Or does he? No, we're coming through to the final lap. So let's see what we can get out of Mick for the last lap. Obviously he doesn't have as much battery left as Max Verstappen did. But we'll see, because we do have Nico Hulkenberg coming back at us now. He's really pushing his soft tyres. Can we keep him ahead here? We do have the fuel and everything else to do this. We're pulling back in front of him now. Has he tailed off? I don't know why he's trying to hold on to these tyres. But Mick's not going any quicker than he was last lap at the moment. Possibly because the tyres are a little bit too hot. And there we go. Max Verstappen crosses the line in first place. So is Mick going to stay ahead? He is. We're pulling away from Nico Hulkenberg again. We do that last lap in a... It was a really slow lap. What did we do? Did we actually run out of fuel with Max Verstappen? I'm guessing we did. I didn't actually turn him down for that second to last lap, did I? But anyway, 122 from Mick Schumacher. Comfortable victory. This would have been in the 25 seconds. And there we go. Yeah, he must have run out of fuel, Max Verstappen, somewhere near the end. We only lost 10 seconds there. But anyway, that's another really good race. A 1-2. We played the long game with Mick Schumacher. It really worked out for us doing what we did, coming in using the medium tyres in Q2 to get through to Q3. It allowed us to get onto the soft tyres for a longer stint during the race. Otherwise, if we'd have done Q2 on the soft tyres, we would have only been able to do about 3 laps on the soft tyre, and then we would have had to go medium and then hard. Or we would have actually had to 3-stop the race, because we'd have been pitting too early to stretch 16 laps of fuel out. So we would have had to plan for a 3-stop race then. So it actually worked out a lot in our favour there, getting in early, doing the 2 stops. Absolutely brilliant from both drivers. Should be no risk of rule break. No, there isn't. And there we go. We finish all the way first and second. Once again, Hulkenberg gets the last spot on the podium in the Mercedes. So Max is now leading by 27 points. Mick Schumacher doing excellent to be in second place. We are now 81 points in front of Mercedes. Not double the points in front anymore, because Hulkenberg picked up a few points. Where did Raikkonen actually end up coming in that race? Raikkonen got 4th as well, so we're followed up by both Mercedes. The Ferrari, Giovinazzi in 10th. Vettel, we know, had problems with his car. Where did he actually finish up in the end? I can't actually see him. Where is Sebastian Vettel? Can't see. If you're looking, 12th place, so Vettel outside the points. So Ferrari still really struggling here this season. Ferrari in 5th place behind the Williams. We know they will come back strong at the end of the season. Mercedes hanging on this time pretty well to get 3rd and 4th. They don't seem to be having the same sort of reliability problems they were having last season, although their reliability problems seem to come later on in the year. Anyway, Haas still in front of Toro Rosso as well. So everyone still really happy. We came 1st overall, expected result 3rd. Still everyone improving at a nice rate. We're not making any changes to this marketability for some reason, even though we're coming 1st when we're expected to come 3rd. I would expect that still to be going up in that case, but it's not. 3.2 million coming into the bank. 37 million overall in the bank account. GP3, won by Camera. Who's Camera racing for at the moment? Campos Racing. Jean-Eric Verne leading in the Virgin car. Yeah, so we've got like, this is a mix of like Formula E and yeah, a lot of different things sort of in that series, but an excellent win overall once again. So yeah, we are going to start planning for leaving McLaren at the end of the season, so it is possibly going to be Haas. It just depends whether they're going to be available at the end of the season. Ferrari at risk at the moment, but don't really want to move to Ferrari. It would be good to move to Ferrari, but it's going to be a little bit too easy once again to get them up within about a season's time. Toro Rosso would be a good one to go with. Who does? I think Haas still have the worst car overall. Yes, they do. The Toro Rosso car is 8th. They're just a long way behind for some reason. They should be behind Haas, but I think Haas have had a couple of lucky results in getting Ericsson up into the points. I think Ferrucci, he actually finished in the points at one point. What was it? Was it in Sochi? No. Sakia in Bahrain. Shanghai. No, scored them all early, didn't they? 1 point for Ferrucci. And then Melbourne, Ericsson got into the points there as well. So, yeah, that's another good episode in the books. Another good win. We'll just finish with the interview as normal. Your two drivers are fighting away. Yeah, just answer as we don't. We don't do team orders usually. Race win. Morale boost. So, yeah, anyway, we've got Monte Carlo coming up next. We've got the Monaco Grand Prix. Obviously, it does have the South African flag because the track mod didn't update that. But anyway, make sure you tune into that one. It should be coming up tomorrow. But if you're not already subscribed, as usual, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up for this video if you like this episode and we're doing well with a number 1, 2 win. Comment down below with who you would like to see us go with next season. Hopefully, as I said, we're going to be getting Haas. But maybe you've got another idea. Maybe you would like to see us with Toro Rosso. Leave a comment down below. But until next time, I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. And I will see you down the road in Monaco for the next Grand Prix. And goodbye.